Today we are diving into a head-to-head comparison of two incredible backcountry tents, the Seek Outside Cimarron and the Pomoly Hex Hot Tents. We're talking setup, weight, comfort, everything you need to know before choosing your next backcountry home. Let's find out which tent comes out on top.
Okay, so this whole thing is the Seek Outside Cimarron tent. The total weight of this thing, including the carbon fiber pole, is around 3 pounds, 10 ounces, very light. I mean, this is it.
Next, the poles. Seek Outside uses carbon fiber, lightweight and strong. The Cimarron is made from one piece of 30D nylon 6.6 ripstop, silicone coated. On the Cimarron, the stovepipe exists on the top, which leaves enough space for 2 people with a stove.
So some of the stuff I love about this tent: 1, the weight; 2, it's very roomy. It still has room for the stove, so it is a hot tent. You can bring this out in the winter. And then 3, packability. This just goes into your backpack, fits there nice and snug. It's very small and compact, but it protects you against the elements. You can sleep well. And so I'm a huge fan of Seek Outside and what they've been doing. It's made in Colorado, so made in the USA, which is always nice to support a USA company. I've been having my eye on Seek Outside for a very, very long time, and I've heard such good reviews. Open the tent just by the zipper down here. Go in here. Plenty of room to lay down. This is where the stove goes. Stovepipe. Close this up, covers you from the wind. You can see how much room you have. I'm 6'1", so there's a lot of room. I think it is really roomy in this tent. You can fit 4 people easily if you didn't have a stove, and then 2 people with the stove. Right here is the fire resistant fabric. So what you do is you just push it up like that, it stays, and then you can put your stove pipe through here. The tent is just super well designed. I mean, optimal for backpacking and winter camping. It has a built-in vent, helps with the condensation, helps when you have a wood stove in there. All right, so we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison. This is the Pomoly tent. I think it's the Hex model. This is weighing in about 13.8 pounds. So there's almost a 10-pound difference with the Pomoly and the Seek Outside. Much heavier tent. It's because the fabric is much thicker with this tent. Also the components, like the pole is not carbon fiber. I think it's just aluminum. It's also the construction of it is taller. So there is more fabric and it does weigh more. This tent, same thing, teepee tent. This was the first tent I owned for the hot tent. And you know, I think what attracted me too was just, I saw a bunch of online reviews and the price was fairly cheap. As you can see, it comes with stakes that are much bulkier and bigger. They are heavier, so in the wintertime I actually don't even use these.
The Pomoly is made of 300D Oxford polyester with a silver coating. With the Pomoly, the pipe comes out on the side, and that cuts interior space down to just 1 person with a stove.
It's a 1-person tent, so with the stove you can only fit 1 person. The vent right here, there's no kind of like openings that I found, but there is a vent. You can see it's much taller than the Seek Outside. There is this little cap that goes over it to protect from the snow and everything. These guy lines are included in it, and you know, if you are in the snow, they come very, very handy. This tent is a thicker material, so it's very, very waterproof and just heavier duty than the Seek Outside for sure. But it means that it's going to weigh more. Remember, it weighs about 10 pounds more than the Seek Outside tent. So let's take a look inside this tent. The zipper. We are inside the tent, and as you can see, another difference is that the hole for the stovepipe is on the side in comparison with the Seek Outside is on the top. What I do love about this tent is that you can hang your clothes from these straps right here. And so you can get nice and warm, which is really, really nice. There is enough room. You know, it's similar. I do think there is less room in this tent than the Seek Outside tent. And you do have to be on this side because the stove is on the other side. And that's why it's a one-person tent with the stove, a two-person tent without the stove. But when you're doing it in the winter, you definitely have to be on this side because the stove takes the majority of the space on this side, and you don't want to get burnt or, you know, ruin your gear or anything like that. But as you can see, the fabric inside here almost has like a silver lining, reflective material, so it does capture the heat very well. But it's very high, this tent, so the temperature gradient is vast. And so up above, it will get very, very warm, and here it still will be warm. You'll be plenty warm. And like I said, you can hang your clothes from those strings and dry your clothes, which is really, really nice. Something that I have noticed with the Pomoly tent is it's actually really hard to close it all the way. I found when I winter camp, it kind of stays open. It's fine, but the Seek Outside really closes well. This is what I'm talking about. So the zipper is right here, and you can just close it, you know, all the way, and there really is no problem. And you can see the tent is, you know, super tight. So this is how they look side by side comparison. You can see that the Pomoly tent on my right is much taller than the Seek Outside. The fabric is a lot, you know, it's heavy duty with this tent, but that also makes a 10-pound difference, which is pretty significant when you're backcountry skiing or you're backpacking. This, I would say, is more spacious. I like the placement of where the stovepipe goes. It's basically on the top, which means that you can situate 2 people with the stove. And on the Pomoly, because of the, you know, where the stovepipe goes, you can basically only do 1 with the stove. So maybe you've seen my other video where I went out with Brian Peters and we went out with the hot tent. That was a Seek Outside tent, but it was a bigger model. It's night and day, the difference of weight. And I can't stress that enough of how important that is. And so a company like Seek Outside that is trying to make your life easier while opening up access to the backcountry, I find is very important, and I'm so grateful that they're out there doing it. My personal preference with the two is I would choose the Seek Outside Cimarron. Like I said, for the weight, the ease of use, Seek Outside. Very excited to take it out this winter. Try it out.